Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mumbai Diaries. My name is Ashish Kaul and I have a very special guest with me in the studio today. He's a young Foreign Services officer who has made Mumbai his home for last 2 years now. He comes from a faraway land, a land which is one of the most sacred places on the earth, a land which is known for its valor and courage under fire. It gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce Mr. Matan Zamir, the Deputy Counsel General of Israel in Mumbai. Mr. Zamir, welcome to Mumbai Diaries.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Being in Mumbai, you can't miss Bollywood. Tell me about your experience with Bollywood. Have you had a chance to mingle with Bollywood in Mumbai?
Not to mingle, but I was fortunate to take place in a shooting of a Bollywood film. One scene, they were working for hours. And it was very difficult because it was a sunset scene. So in 3 or 4 hours, they had to keep it sunset. So all these equipment and all these mirrors and all these screens, from different angles. And then, because it was like, it was 2 ladies talking, 2 Bollywood stars, not ladies, Bollywood stars talking. And only in the 10 minutes of actual sunset, they did from the shoulders towards the sunset. You could actually see the actual sunset. But the other 2-3 hours, they were shooting all other angles, so it would look as if it's sunset, and they were able to create it beautifully. And I was just standing next to it, so I was pretty amazed, actually. I saw how difficult it is, and how much of a hard work they have to give.
Have you interacted with any Bollywood stars here in Mumbai?
Not personally, but we had an Israeli artist performing at the Palladium Hotel in Lower Parel. He is a mentalist. So he does an act in which so Amitabh Bachchan was there.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and he was sitting obviously front row. And he took his glass, the Israeli artist took Amitabh Bachchan's glasses, he placed them on his hand, and he was able with the second hand to move the glasses without touching it, with no strings, nothing. But in the first second, because nothing was prepared, nothing was directed, nothing was artificial. He just stepped down from the stage, he took the glasses, he placed it on the end and he moved it. And in the first second I said, oh, there's a diplomatic incident happening in front of me, and there's nothing I can do but Amitabh Bachchan was so comfortable with it, and he just played along, and it was incredible.
Talking of Amitabh Bachchan, have you watched any of his films?
I've been watching, again, my problem is with the name. So I've been watching Bollywood films. It's a little bit difficult for me to understand the actual plot because of the translation, even though sometimes there are
subtitles.
So I've been watching, and then I can find 2, let's say 2 genres or 2 lines of movies. One is the classical, very influenced, in my eyes, with Hollywood, more of like the bestsellers kind. And there's another line of the emphasis is more on the plot and on the story, something more modern, something more edgy, groundbreaking, and I've been enjoying both. Because sometimes you want entertainment, you just want after a long day at work just to tune down and just see action or thrillers or comedy or a love story. Or sometimes you want to think and be more sophisticated. So we have both here, and the variety is huge.
Tell me something about cinema back home. Is there any Israeli cinema, so to say?
The Israeli cinema is very successful, and I find it very, so I like it very much. Actually, in the last 7 years, they are the nominees in the Academy Award, in the Oscar Award, they're the nominee for the best foreign film. So Israel was nominated 4 times. We haven't won yet, but I believe we're getting there. But the Israeli cinema is very fruitful and very successful, and again, it's more of a personal story. There aren't as many huge productions as here or in Hollywood, but they tell very personal and very intimate and stories of the reality in Israel. A lot to do with the conflict, between the Israelis and the Palestinians. A lot to do with religious aspects of living in Israel, being a Jewish, the interaction between Jewish and Arabic population in Israel. Political issues, economical issues, and a lot of private, just personal stories that I find I love Israeli cinema very much.
Indian film industry has become a brand ambassador for world tourism. Are there any initiatives being planned for tourism between India and Israel?
Yes, the Israeli government has decided to target India because more and more, like you said, more and more Indian tourists are traveling abroad, and they're looking. After being 2 years here, and talking to people, I can see that the Indian travelers, they look for the more exotic, the new destination, because they are the typical destination, Thailand in the region, and they're incredible places, and then Singapore, but they're looking for the exciting new locations. And so the Israeli government has just opened a tourism ministry office in Mumbai. And more, if you listen to the radio and you watch TV, there are more and more commercials publicizing Israel as a new, very unknown destination for the Indian traveler.
Are you planning any incentives for the Indian film industry to go and shoot in Israel?
We do. Actually, we've been planning that a few years now, and I believe it will take place in the very near future, because the locations in Israel are just incredible and very different from other locations in the world. So shooting a film with the background or having the plot take place in a city like Jerusalem. There's a famous story about Jerusalem that there is an actual psychological phenomena. Jerusalem being such, like I said, such a spiritual place, then you feel something. Most of the people that I've met, and I grew up in Jerusalem, so I feel it less than others. But people who visit Jerusalem can really feel the spirituality. So shooting a film there, and then shooting a film in Tel Aviv, that again, it's 45 minutes, but so different. Tel Aviv is only 100 years old. It's a very modern, very large, very open city. And having a story take place in these cities is just something that I believe it will. And then there are a few initiatives, and I believe it will take place in the near future.
One does see a lot of moving images of people near the Wailing Wall, and those pictures are very emotionally moving. I really hope Indian film industry takes a note of that and moves to Israel and presents Israel the way it is. Talking about movies, are there any favorite movies that you have? Any movies that you've seen over a period of last 2 years here?
You're talking of Bollywood? Yes. So I'm not so good with the names, but I've watched a few Indian films that are like the main ones, the top ones. I don't want to say the mainstream, but I like action. So I've seen Doom 3, and all these action films, and some of the more, again, high quality. Again, I'm not so good with the names, but these more personal and
have
intimate.
Have you seen movies of Amitabh Bachchan?
I have. I saw this, one movie by Amitabh Bachchan I saw when I was still in Israel, before coming here, so I did my research. And obviously part of the research is to see, it was very hard. No, I'm joking, because I enjoyed it very much, but I've seen a few Bollywood films before coming here, and you have to see at least one by Amitabh Bachchan, and loved it.